What is going on, everybody? Welcome to episode number 36 of the Everything NYJ podcast. Liam Johnson, Gino Pagano. We brought two excellent friends with us. We have the crew from the New York Jets group chat podcast. We have Matt, we have Jerry. How you guys doing today?
What's up, boys? How are you?
Yeah, how we doing, fellas?
Glad Thanks for having us.
We've been talking about trying to get this together for a little bit now, so glad we're on the day camp opens. Glad we're able to get together and talk some Jets.
Absolutely,
absolutely, man. Sure. Looking forward to chopping up with you guys. Thank you. I just want to thank everybody for coming and watching the video. If you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. We're just so appreciative of everything that you guys have always done for us. Before we get into the video, I just wanted to mention you could follow us on all social media platforms. On Facebook under Gino Antonio Pagano. Can't even talk today. On Twitter at Everything NYJ. And on Instagram at _Everything NYJ. So, Mr. Matt and Mr. Jerry, where can we find you guys on social media?
Yeah, personally, I'm on Twitter at Matt Cardos, and then the pod, the Twitter's at JetsPod, so it's nice and short. And nice. But if you go over to Instagram, you have to type in the whole thing, Jets Group Chat Podcast, and you could find all our social stuff over there.
Someone snagged that right from under us on Instagram. Couldn't even get it.
Although I was surprised when we made it. Like, I was shocked that Jets Pod was available. Like,
oh wow,
yeah, it does almost seem like too good to be true,
Yeah, I was like, this can't be real.
Save, do it right now.
Yeah.
I'd like some uniformity in the handles matching, but I was like, the Jets might one day have to pay me for this handle if they want it. So, I was like, I'm taking Jets Pod for sure.
We also like to think business wise outside of the Jets on this podcast.
Yeah,
no absolutely.
Doubt. There you go.
But yeah, and how do we find you on? How do we?
You can find me at Gerard Spiga, even though it says Jerry right below over here. Real name's Gerard, but at Gerard Spiga, you can follow me and all my shenanigans, mostly about the Jets, Mets, and Knicks.
Awesome,
man. There you go. I love that. Well, I mean, to kick this off, I got to ask, how does podcast get started? I love hearing stuff like this, so I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I mean, Jerry and I, we went to high school together. Everybody on the podcast, we all went to the same high school. We all went to high school together. We're all like mid-30s. I'm 33. Speaking, what are you, 33, 34?
34, depending 34. On who you ask.
Yeah,
25.
So we between me and Jerry and the other guys are Nick, PJ, and Dennis. They all graduated in 2007. Jerry and I graduated in 2006. But we all kind of bonded in high school because we liked the Jets. Like you kind of like know who's a Jet fan and who's not around town, and we just always knew that there was for a big school. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a huge school, but how many kids do we graduate with? 800, 900? I mean,
yeah, something like that. Right around there. Yeah.
So if you weigh about 1,000 kids, like there's really not a lot of Jet fans in that pool, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
All Giants and Yankee fans.
Oh, yeah. The worst.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Poo-poo.
So we kind of bonded by that, but as we kind of graduated and kind of went on and started life and work and moved away and all that, we kind of kept in touch in a group chat where we would just sporadically, oh, yo, did you see we're about to sign Le'Veon Bell? Like, we would just shoot texts about the Jets every once in a while, but it wasn't like a regular, like, everyday thing, at least when it started. But I feel like over the years, as we've gotten a little bit older, the texts throughout that group chat have become more frequent, almost an everyday thing. And so, like, here we are, it could be in, like, May, and we're talking about the Jets, or it could be we could be 0-12 and we're still talking about the Jets. And I don't know. I feel like the five of us had such different personalities. Some of us have kids and different jobs and careers and teachers and different hours where you're working. And some guys work nights, some guys work days. Some are more quiet, some are more outgoing. But we all, in the group chat, you can't really show that personality. It's just, but the five of us knowing each other, we find it hysterical sometimes. So there was just one point. It was actually during the playoffs. I remember. I think it was the weekend leading up to the Super Bowl. I was just kind of sitting on the couch, and I was like, think it'd be awesome if we started a podcast. I was like, I don't know anything about podcasting. I don't know how to start one. I don't know how to go about even recording it, publishing it, putting it anywhere.
Shout out
building a
Google.
following. Yeah.
Yeah.
And luckily I'm involved in the media. So like I have a lot of friends
Right.
who've done podcasts and I've just kind of bounced ideas and stuff off of them. But then I ran it by them thinking that nobody would really be into it. I didn't think that I knew Spiga would be into it. But I didn't think the other 3 or 4 guys or whatever, I didn't know that everybody would buy in, but everybody was all about it. So I'm like, all right, well, let's think about, and then, so that was Super Bowl. What was that? Early February. And I was like, well, let me take time to like figure out how this actually works and what it entails.
Right.
And I was like, but let's shoot with the idea of free agency opens mid-March. Let's try to launch like the week before so we could at least see where the Jets are at. What do they need to add?
Right.
And that's like a solid debut episode, just introducing who we are and what do the Jets need to do. So
Absolutely.
that's kind of how it started. And yeah, we launched in mid-March, right before free agency. And obviously
Awesome.
off season's a weird time. So we don't really have
Yeah.
you're kind of like grasping for straws at content, but
Oh, I know.
Yeah, same with us.
yeah,
We know.
I'm not telling
We
you guys
know.
anything you don't know, right? So we definitely haven't done like a weekly thing. I think we're up to 8 episodes at this point. We did a few back to back because you had the draft, you had free agency,
Yeah.
so there was a lot of stuff to talk about. But really, I'd say since the draft ended, we've only had 2 or 3 episodes. But now that camp is here and the season and the preseason is going to be coming up, as you guys know, super soon, we're going to try and figure out like a regular recording date and all
Right.
that
Yeah.
stuff. Because I think you guys know, I think you guys are doing twice a week now at this point, this is the perfect time to do that.
Mhm.
Right.
We want to get to that point where we have at least a day of the week where we know. And that's another thing too, is the 5 of us, it's super hard to get everybody on
Yeah,
the
I can
same
imagine.
page with
Who's
schedule.
got kids? Got this job? Who's
Yeah.
got what? It's
Right.
So truthfully, I think we've had, out of the 8 episodes, I think we've had a half an episode where all 5 guys have been on at the same time. It's
wow.
whoever's available this week, hop on. So it's kind of a
Right.
mishmash. Some guys are in one week and out the others. Other than me
Right,
and Jerry,
right.
we've been on every episode, but between the other 3, it's just been super tough to get everybody on. But
back starts to hurt from carrying everybody, man. It's just like it's tough.
Hey, I got my.
Oh,
lower
I
back
feel you,
covered,
man. Yeah.
But yeah, that's
No,
pretty
it's-
much it. Was just a random idea and just kind of put it out there. And that's, I mean, the name is in the title. It's just a group chat.
Right,
that
it's what you
is
guys
being
are.
brought to a podcast. So
Yeah,
that's how
Absolutely.
we got that.
It's not easy, especially like in like the mid of like the off season. There's like nothing going on, no news.
No content.
Yeah,
You gotta
man,
make it your
it's
own.
not
I
easy.
think.
Yeah, you got to find your own, but that's what makes you unique, you know.
Right. I mean, when you're talking about Zach Wilson banging his mom's friend for 20 minutes, that's when you're like, yes.
Yeah,
So that's-
yeah.
We need some football to talk about, boys.
It's and
Absolutely.
it's a cool escape. And again, like long story short, it was just an excuse for all of us to stay together and talk through and kind of go through some
Right.
things together. So using the Jets, we'd always talk through throughout the year. Half of us are Met fans as well. It's just another opportunity for us to kind of just like stay together, stay engaged, and talk. And then now here, it's like we're funny. We say some weird, outlandish shit. We got some funny stories from back in the day. So why not
Yeah.
share it with the world? Let everybody else do this. And it's supposed to be fun, and that's what it is. And we're trying
Absolutely.
to go legit, do some cool things. I actually just went to and met Mike Westhoff last week.
Okay.
So we're gonna
Awesome.
have him on, I think, in like 2 weeks. I was talking to him.
Nice.
So we're trying to do some relevant things, but again, it's all about fun. It's all about the love of the Jets.
I
Nice.
think my-
That's awesome, man.
I think my favorite, I guess, element to this podcast is that Jerry's, I say this on every place I go now, but Jerry's mom was our principal in high school. So when we were in high school, his mom ran the show, but she also listens to the pod like religiously.
Oh wow.
So when we go off the football avenue and start talking about like things
The
from
shit
back
I've
in the
done.
day and things that maybe Jerry did at parties or when his
Yeah.
mom wasn't around, and then she'll go in the comments like, "Oh, what did I miss? What did I miss senior year of high school? Should I have given detention out?" It's really funny. It's become like one of my favorite elements of the show is that our biggest fan
That's
is his
unique.
mom, but it was also our principal in high school, which I think is hilarious.
How many have been suspended? Has she suspended any of you guys, or?
No,
I was
she's
never
usually
suspended.
she's usually the one getting
Nice.
us out of trouble. I'm always the
Yeah.
one who's got to
Okay.
suffer for it. That's the thing.
Oh,
Because even when I'm
Yeah,
not
when you get home.
involved- exactly. I'm
Yep.
not involved in the situation. Oh, it's hurt your friend who's cutting homeroom. I'm like, okay, like I was in practice. What do I know? What do I care? But then I found
mom-
myself. We like, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say I find ourselves like talking about like keeping up with the lie. Like talking about parties that I've thrown. I forgot that was at my house, that her house, and it's like, oh no, that was at somebody else's, not us. Sorry, never mind. I get in trouble for that now.
My mom worked in the lunchroom. Like my mom worked in the cafeteria at my school. And I'd have teachers coming down. Oh, your son did this, and I mean, I wasn't a bad kid, but like in like middle school, I was like mischievous,
Right.
And my mom's like, listen, like I'm at work, like talk to me after work, like call me like you would like a normal parent, like
Yeah.
And I'm like, sorry, mom, I didn't mean to do this or that, It is
Well, that's
what
what
it
it
is.
was. It's like you don't the access to like your mom's same thing is so quick. The same thing with my mom. All they had to do is walk up to her office. They didn't have to send a letter home to call her, and I can get it and erase the message. It was easy for me to get in trouble, and I didn't miss an opportunity to get in trouble. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm right there.
Oh,
All right, Gino, what else you have, man?
I mean, going off the podcast stuff, we have been trying the last 6 months to like figure out where we wanted to go and what service to do. So we finally got StreamYard. We got 50 subscribers. We can go live, and it's a painful process, but a rewarding end. So we're getting started too. We actually do have Mike Westhoff coming on August 10th as well.
Westy.
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
So
Plug the book. Figure it out.
Yes, figure it out. Mike Westhoff World Tour. He's hopping on all the podcasts. He's on
that's
Green
where he was.
Beans, on you guys.
man.
I'm down in Florida. I just moved from New Jersey probably about a year ago.
Okay.
And it came up. He's like, oh, the first 10 followers to comment back would be invited to my book signing in like Fort Myers, which is like 5-10 minutes from me.
Oh,
So
cool.
Carlos hit me up, shoot me. I think we're the first and second comments in the whole thing, but it was
nice.
cool. Went and got to meet him. He's a cool dude. Like he has like that like rough exterior. Watching him on Hard Knocks, you meet him. He's like the coolest old man in the world. He's cool as hell.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed him on Green Bean.
Yeah.
Oh, I haven't watched him on Green
I haven't
Bean.
seen
Was
it
it
yet.
good?
He was saying that I keep wanting him to come back, and then he's like, like you guys want me to come back? Everything I did back then is like illegal today, and I'm like, yes,
Oh, yeah.
that's what I miss.
That's so funny.
That's what I miss.
I have to watch. I think Green Bean had Connor Hughes on,
Dude,
Yes,
I watched that.
he did.
and
It was
they had like
the
a
best.
public feud. I haven't watched it. I'm probably gonna
Yep.
watch it tonight.
They had, it was all over Twitter. They're going back and forth with each other.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
they
that's
like buried
great.
the hatchet and had it on last night. But yeah, I think
He was a good sport though. Connor was a
yeah.
good sport though.
Yeah, I liked Connor. But yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing Westhoff with you guys and for us having him. And for us, like we're both just getting started out and getting figured out. I don't know what your pod ends up being in the long run. I don't know what ours ends up turning out to be. Right now, it's just something we do for fun. But like, I think the point of doing it is to like just build a following. Like you want to build a following and you want people to recognize the name and know
and
who
take
you
it
are.
seriously. Like
You want it's like
seriously.
we're all in the same boat. None of us are more established than the other, but I think the goal is to just make an identity and
exactly.
Just, at the end of the day, like this is all. I was just on the Gotham City Crew podcast. Shout out to those guys because those guys are awesome.
Oh, absolutely.
They did what
Claudio's that dude.
Yeah, you were. I watched you.
Claudio.
On there.
Yep.
Yeah, Claudio.
We had Mike. We had Frank West on last week.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's all like one big community, but like if you don't build each other up and like, what's the point? Like the point of doing this is to interact with other Jet fans. Like
That's why we do it.
I'm not doing this to like get on ESPN. I'm not doing this to like become famous. I'm just doing it to like get in part of a fraternity and a community and interact with Jet fans like you guys. Like we've never met in person. We followed each other through the pods, and here we are chatting. And I think
speak for yourself. I'm trying to get famous, man. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, dude. I don't know about you guys.
I'm trying to go Hollywood. I'm trying to get High Noon to support me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, follow me. Send me some free shit, whatever you need. But no, if it happens,
it happens. But it's going to happen organically.
Right.
But
it's all like
I think for a guy like Westhoff to agree to come on both of our podcasts, it brings credibility, and it's something you can be like, oh, there's just some little slap dick podcast. Oh, well, yeah. Well, now we have maybe the most legendary special teams coach in history coming on our podcast. Like to me at this point in my life, like time is the most valuable thing that you can give somebody.
Right.
And if a guy who's accomplished as much as he has, and I mean, the guy was just on the Michael K show in studio, like
Yeah.
4 or 5 days ago. So for a guy that's good enough to go on the Michael K show to come on my podcast, I think
Right.
is pretty cool. And it just for something that's so early on for the two of us, like for to have somebody that brings name recognition to come on and just give you, even if he comes on for 10 or 15 minutes, that's
Right.
cool. It's just something that brings credibility, I think. So I'm super excited for both of our pods to have that, and it hopefully
Appreciate
catapults us to another level and brings a lot more
Absolutely.
followers.
Yeah, and also just because we've had a few guests already. We've had a New York Jets situation report. We've had him. He's from Houston.
Oh, nice.
And
Yeah.
then we have Buffalo Jet on.
Buffalo
we have
Jets,
Frank
fuck,
West on. And I love hearing what you're saying. That's what we're all about too. And that gets me on one question: how long have you guys been Jets fans? It was like, were you forced into it when you were kids? Because I know a lot of people are like, "That's my team from your dad. That's my grandpa. You're supporting no matter what."
Grandfathered in.
Or was it just your own? Like, I don't know.
I feel like most Jet fans would probably say they were like either grandfathered into it or forced into it
Yeah.
as an early age. Because you
Not
look at
me.
like
Not me.
really, you haven't?
Really?
I was.
He was.
Like, yeah, my whole family, like, they're all Jet fans.
Hold on, I want to get back to that, Gino. We're going to interview you in a second after we tell our stories.
Yeah, because I need to hear this. Why did you choose this misery?
We'll
what
get
I
to
need
that.
to know.
How did you get into this?
Misery.
Yes, misery.
This is a sick fantasy. It's not misery.
But you know what though? As much as it's like a fever dream that lasted 34 years is what it is. But the cool thing about the Jets though is like even though, they might underachieve at times. Yeah, they might not be the greatest. They might,
Right.
like as Cardo said on the Gotham City cruise, like you'll never be a bandwagon fan as a Jet fan. You know what I mean?
No.
You're not joining them for the winning.
Wow.
So it's like when you see other Jet fans, you know they're all diehard guys, and it's like cool. It's like its own little small community, and it's like getting to know each other and kind of feeling everybody's vibe out. It's like it's a fan base unlike anything I've ever seen.
Oh,
Baseball, football, soccer, anything you want to call it. Jet fans are elite above everything else.
I agree.
I'm with you on that. I mean, you cannot like. We're gonna need some receipts, when we win it all or go to the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Just like Buffalo Jets said on our second to last podcast before Frank, he said, "I'm gonna need some receipts. You're not going in the stadium until I see them all." And I'm like, I'm with you.
If there's not a picture of you crying from like 2020, you're not welcomed in.
Absolutely.
It's as simple as that.
That's
If you didn't live through Adam Gase,
like
that's yeah.
Well, I mean,
If you know what it's like, misery at week 17 to never go up to your potential, usually against Buffalo, then you're not a true Jet fan.
I know, especially when So here's my story. I used to work for the St. Louis Rams for 10 years. 2 of those was volunteering because I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. My dad was a video guy for the Rams during that time. He spent 25 years there. He went to England against the Patriots when they played. So the Rams were like good for like the first drive, touchdown, and then the rest of it he just blowed us out. But
sounds familiar.
yeah. But so my story with that is, do you guys know what McFarlane figures are?
Yeah.
All right,
I have a
so
couple right here.
Yeah, I have all of them. I have a lot of them on my desk and stuff, and I've collected. My dad, I blame my dad for being a Jets fan.
We all blame our dads.
Yeah, I blame my dad too.
Oh
yeah. So my dad doesn't know anything really about the Jets. He knew like Joe Namath and like the sack exchange, like Walker, Todd, all those guys like back in the day. But he kept giving me these McFarlane figures of like Curtis Martin, Chad Pennington, Joe Namath, and then I would just play them all the time on video games as well. And then when I was working for the Rams too, I was a flag guy for the Rams, and I was up close.
Nice.
I was a flag guy, and I saw them play like LT, Jason Taylor. And that's when Tebow came in Tebow came in like later in that. And it was really cool experience. I even like cheered for the Jets while I was supposed to work for the Rams, and people were like looking at me. My coworkers were like, "This is not the time." I'm like, "Yeah, I know, my bad." But that's how it started. Like I collected the McFarlane figures, the jerseys. I always played them on the video games. And I'm not from New York. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, where I'm surrounded by Chiefs, Cowboys, Rams, Bears. especially the Cowboys too. It's
Oof.
but
We have a lot of
it's-
that here.
but I
Tons.
yeah, it's just always been like that. Always got crapped on, and even when we almost went to the Super Bowl with Brett Favre, and then having like a good years with Rex Ryan, a couple of those good ones. I always was the pin of everyone's joke, like the Jets. Why? Like, why? And I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I believe it. I've always loved them. I've always loved everything about them, and I'm not even from there. I was alone until I'm going to home opener. Are you guys going to home opener?
Of course.
You'll be there.
Yeah. So we're going.
Oh,
to
we'll be
home-
there too.
Yeah. Well, this is
we'll
my
have to-
first
we'll have to link
MetLife
up.
game. First MetLife game.
Oh, really?
Home opener. First MetLife game.
Oh, you'll
where I
have to
get to
swing.
be.
You'll have to swing by my tailgate.
Do it. I will.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, man, come by.
Yeah, it'll be
We'll,
awesome. And then
We do
so.
it up.
Oh, dude, I love that. We're gonna go by a lot of tailgates.
Yeah, go check
Cause-
them out.
Because like I used to go to home openers with the Rams all the time in town. I loved that energy back in the day. It was memorable. And then now, since I get to go to New York, I'm like, oh, so this is what it's like being a Jets fan. I was always alone. So like now I'm like, okay. And then I met Liam on Twitter, and now we have a podcast.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome. Have you been to New York before or New Jersey?
I have only had a layover there.
Okay. Wow. So this.
So
this
he's
is your
never
first
stepped
time
foot in
together.
New York.
Yeah.
Oh wow, this is awesome.
Interesting.
I'm
Yeah.
pumped for you.
Oh, dude.
And
I'm pumped for him
dude,
too, man.
You're coming for the opener. It's on September 11th.
I know.
like,
that's the busiest,
9/11 in New York
busiest
Yeah.
is
weekend.
a big
too.
deal.
The busiest weekend.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Wow. That's awesome. I didn't realize that. Good for you, man. I'm happy you're
and
coming.
I appreciate that, Matt. And a bonus, it's my 30th birthday.
Oh, there you go.
It's a bonus.
Yeah, we'll definitely link up. I have your number. We'll when you're there, hit me up. We'll link up for sure.
We'll have to throw a steak
Absolutely.
on the grill for your birthday.
Big, are
Ah,
you
cool.
coming up? Because you're in Florida now. Are you coming up?
No, I'm coming up. Already booked my flight, nice and cheap.
Nice.
Same here.
Got the
Nice
tickets.
and cheap.
I'm
Love
ready
it.
to roll. You got to do it early. That's why I figured. I was nervous because September 11th and like everything surrounding that, you got to figure it'd be crazy. But it wasn't too
March.
bad.
March. I got mine in March immediately.
Oh wow.
Ooh, I didn't go that far.
Yeah,
I mean, I did
well,
like
I
my
mean,
like
I
last
knew-
month.
Gino was not playing around.
It
Nah.
was going to be busy, and plus I got my tickets good too. Like I knew because September 11 weekend, I was like, I got to be on the roll here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah. Well, dude, and the way I don't know, I've tried to travel a few like just prices for flights in general to go anywhere
I know.
have been bonkers. So to lock in that far in advance was good, but good for you, man. That's exciting. I'm pumped for you. But let me ask you another question. Have you now you're St. Louis guy, Jet fan,
Yeah.
not a lot of have you found any other fans out there? Like do you have any friends or have you found a community in St. Louis or Missouri that are Jet fans, or are you just kind of a lone wolf out there?
I was a lone wolf until about a year ago. Now I'm starting to find. I started to find six guys. A couple of them are in college. One's in his 40s. Another one is in his 50s. I passed by a little bit. Even my Uber driver was a Jets fan, but he was from New York. So
Okay.
these guys, they're from New Jersey and New York, and they came to St.
Transplanted,
Louis
sure.
Yeah.
for to have a better because it's not cheap
Yeah.
to live in New York.
So with not being in the local network, what do you do to watch Jet games? You have to go to a bar, you have to go somewhere to watch it, or do you have the Sunday ticket?
I used to go to the bars and I used to do just NFL Red Zone, but now I can't say on the air how I can watch him. But
That's where I was going because I do the
get what you're
same
throwing.
thing.
so I have a connection through one of my really good buddies. He's actually in Canada, so it was really cool to get that connection. How he hooked me up, and for the first time, I actually get to watch them instead of watching like Red Zone or a rerun the next day or something like that. But yeah, so I'm really
Shout out your connect right now. Shout him out.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, it's New York, Canada. New York, I think that's his. Yeah.
Okay.
Coomsey,
Good for
I
you.
think.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Do what you gotta
I
do.
know.
Until
Yeah.
somebody else buys the NFL rights, we're stuck.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, did you hear about NFL? You too, Liam. Did you hear about the NFL? They're doing NFL Plus now. It's called NFL Plus.
It's like $5 a month. I have heard something about that.
But
Yeah.
it's
did you read the
subscription
fine
now.
print?
What?
I did not. I saw it on the news.
Still no out of network games.
See, that's the thing I was gonna say. So there's no out of network games, but they won't even do playoffs or preseason. So it's kind of like
it's pretty much like a glorified, like you go watch the replay of it after, but like you can't really do.
You have to pay. You just have to pay for it.
Right. Exactly.
But that's the thing. I feel like if you told me right now, clean and clear, $500 a year, you could watch every Jet game. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. I feel like any football fan would do that. But like they're holding on to it like super weird. DirecTV is really fickle about like how you can get access to this. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I know. It's crazy. But that brings me up to my next question. Since we're talking about MetLife, I know you guys have been to a game. And, I mean, I'm guessing, are you guys season ticket holders as well?
I am, yeah.
So I was until I moved, yeah.
So what's your best Jets moment at MetLife?
MetLife, there's not many.
I'm not sure. But if you want to talk about my Jet...
They haven't really been good at MetLife, to be truthful.
Okay. That's fair.
They only played that one Rex Ryan year in MetLife, and I'll be what's the word? I'll be nostalgic for this one, even though it's a fake one.
Okay. I have a 6-year-old. When I took him to his first Jet game, we got demolished by the Vikings. But taking him and like having him go to the game and kind of do like, because I was pretty much around his age, if not maybe a year or two older, when I went to my first Jet game. So it was cool to kind of see him go, watch, kind of be engaged and see what's going on. So that was like a cool moment for me. But if you want to go like full blown Jet moment, it probably has to be the old stadium, the win and we're in game against the Cincinnati Bengals. That was a freezing. People were burning barrels to stay warm, but it was probably the.
Then we played them again the next week
and lost.
Yeah.
But it was a cool moment to have like the last game in Giant Stadium was a win by the Jets. It's pretty dope.
We didn't lose the next week. We beat them the next week.
No,
I was gonna say I think we did.
No, we lost the. No, we won one. Wait,
that's the year we lost to the Colts in the championship game.
Yes.
We beat Cincinnati. Right. We beat Cincinnati week 1, and then we beat the Chargers in San Diego, and then we went to Indianapolis and lost.
See,
you're right.
Fever dream, Jet fandom. You get all the things crossed. All right, my bad.
After I agreed with you, I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, that doesn't sound right. Actually,
I appreciate you co-signing even without the receipts, though. I like that.
Because Revis shut down Chad Ochocinco 2 weeks in a row.
2 weeks in a row, yeah.
Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, you're right.
And Chad Ochocinco still says that Revis is like the only one who could beat him.
I do remember that. You're right. I was wrong.
Because I remember going into that game, Ochocinco, the headline was he said Revis couldn't guard him in a phone booth. And then he said
13 yards.
He said if he shut him down, he would change his name back to Johnson from Ochocinco, and he locked him down. And he was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna change my name, but he's fucking good." Like, but like, yeah, you're right. Like, even still to this day, he gives Revis a ton of props because he knows that he shut him down. But
he loves Wilson too. He's always talking good about Zach Wilson too.
He loves Zach Wilson. I love it. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know if I have like an on-field memory. I guess it's just the atmosphere of like tailgating and going to the game each week. I've met a ton of friends that like I just randomly met that sit in front of me now I'm close with. We tailgate together. So it's kind of like this, like meeting a community of people that you meet and become friends with. It's same thing there. I have like a group of people in my section. We tailgate together. And I guess that's just what I think of most when I think of MetLife. It's just like when I'm there, it feels like home because it's where we go every Sunday and get together with your friends. It's more like a social event, honestly. Like,
it's like church.
Yeah.
Show up every Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, I live like 45 minutes west of the stadium, so the lot opens for tailgating at 8:00 for a 1:00 game, but it takes me 45 minutes to get, and I like to be there when the lot opens. So I leave my house at like 6:30 a.m. for a 1:00 game, and I'm like in line to get in the gate by like, I don't know, 20 to 8, but it's like an all day thing. Like I'm up with the sun, and then by the time the game ends, it takes an hour to get out of the parking lot.
Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah. So you're talking about waking up at like 6 a.m. and you don't get home till, I don't know, 6 at night. It's an all day thing, but I really
it's worth it.
I wouldn't have
worth
it.
it.
Yeah, especially only eight days a year. I mean,
yeah, it's going to be different for me because I'm in the Midwest everything always was at noon, 3:25, 5:45, or 7:35.
Yeah,
So
you have the time difference.
It's going to be so different for me, but I'm looking forward to it. We're taking the train. We're still going to deal with the traffic.
Yeah, Secaucus.
Yeah, so
Okay,
so we're doing all that, and then
It's so easy too. It's just like follow everybody in green, you know.
Follow the wave. You're fine.
it's like
Yeah,
follow a
if
bunch
you
of
see like all
straps.
the drunk people in the green, you know you're going the right way.
yeah, absolutely.
Make your way to J Lot, and you'll find us.
Yeah,
Very good.
Yeah, where are you guys at? In the J
Yeah.
lot? Okay.
yeah. I park in the J21 is where we park, right on the curb. We have like a
Okay.
big.
Where are your seats at?
Section 305. It's like the first.
That's upper,
row.
right?
Yeah, first row and
Okay.
upper deck in the corner of the end zone.
Yeah, we're
All right, cool.
315.
I know where you guys are.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah,
by
I was
us.
there. I was 312. My seats were 312. It's all right there.
Yeah.
And there's not a bad seat in that stadium. Like the way it's
Exactly.
built is like it's
I
built
prefer
up
high.
instead of out.
I prefer up high.
So
Exactly.
do I. I feel like the views are kind of. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like if somebody gave me like front row tickets, I'm taking them. But
yeah.
for,
yeah.
for the value of the seat for what it costs, I mean the value's there. Like I can't not see the game. You know, like you could
Right.
see everything that's going on. It's a fine seat.
Absolutely, I agree.
So like training camp for me is like a holiday for me. Like the draft training camp
Oh, yeah.
has always been a holiday for me. What is your best moment for both of you? What is your best moment at training camp?
Like actually,
favorite moment. Yeah.
attending it.
Exactly. Yes.
I actually just started going to camp regularly
Okay.
when I got season tickets. I don't know. I got season tickets in 2018, so 4 years ago, I guess.
Cool.
So I don't have a ton of memories, but it's always fun. I'm actually going again Saturday. That's the first date open for fans is Saturday.
Yeah.
So
Matt, I have a question for you. Did you ever go to the ones at Hofstra?
no, it was too
No?
far. Like my dad
Far
never
from
wanted
us.
to drive out to Long Island. It's a
Yeah.
hike to get to Long Island from like central. Not a
Right.
hike, but it's not like
Yeah.
45 minutes and you're there. It's probably a 2.5 hour drive.
All right.
probably.
Yeah, I used to go to some of the. I live on Long Island, so I used to go to some of the Hofstra ones back then. But like every time I would like go to them for some reason, I was more interested in like the cheerleaders than I was like the team. And like every like
Nothing wrong
picture,
with it.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
mad at that.
I have like a Jets hard hat, and it's like I have like all like the cheerleader signed and everything. And I realized if I wasn't with the cheerleaders, I would have had the players would have signed it, but I was
Yeah.
too busy,
Yeah.
flirting with the
Yeah.
cheerleaders
Yeah.
instead. The
Who
the
needs?
flight
all
crew.
good.
Who needs Mark Sanchez's autograph when you can get? this
Yeah, I
girl
got
who's
I got
200 followers?
Jennifer, you know.
Yeah, you get like Nicole C. Or
Do you know who
Nicole
Christie
W.
is?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
I don't
right.
care, Okay. Lavernius
Yeah.
Close just walked by. Yeah,
Who?
Hell with him.
yeah. I got Amy.
But yeah, I guess my best memories are just of my nephew. I have two nephews, what are they, 12 and 6, I think. They actually just moved to Florida a couple of months ago, but I took my nephew to training camp, Darnold's second year, so 2019, and that was his first time there, and that was the first time I had been in a while. And I'm a big jersey guy. I buy a lot of jerseys.
Me
And,
too.
That's
Big Jersey guy.
Yeah, so I had a Darnold jersey and I had an Adams jersey, and I brought them.
got
I brought
Me
them
too.
with me. I brought them with me to camp in hopes of getting them signed,
Oh, beautiful.
and I did. It's behind me. The Darnold is hanging up, and
Yeah.
How many
I see
Sam
the
Darnold
Darnold, yep.
jerseys did you have?
then Adams is over there.
Oh, that's cool. You
But-
got Klepko too. That's nice.
Yeah,
Mango,
so I got
Testaverde.
Yeah.
Wait, that's sauce. Oh, you got a sauce? Oh, that's cool.
yeah,
Gino
Carter's
loves
got a good
sauce.
collection.
yeah. Sauce just did a signing like 15 minutes from my house a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotham City was there,
Michael Carter's going to be there this Sunday. I think.
Nice,
I'm
you
gonna
going?
You're going to that
Yeah.
one, right?
Yeah, I'm going to go.
Nice.
Yeah, it's only $40. It's pretty cheap.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah,
at all.
why not?
Yeah, but I got those two signed, and my nephew had a jersey. He got it signed, so I just like the atmosphere. It is like, I'll say, it's not as like exciting. I feel like when you're an adult to go to camp because it's just so damn hot, and like the
Yeah.
drills. But the drills aren't like. It's not like you go there and you think like they're gonna be facing each other, but it's not that. It's just like a walkthrough. Like
Yeah.
hike the ball, blow the whistle, hike the ball. Like there's no like pace to it, and it gets I don't know, it just gets like repetitive and old. I like seeing the players for the first time and all that, but I think I feel like you get more of a kick out of it when you're a kid. But being the guy into the memorabilia and the jerseys, I like more the aspect of the accessibility and the players coming up and giving their time and signing what you have and taking pictures. Of course, last year I went to camp, but because it was the first camp after COVID, they didn't allow players to interact. So
right, I remember
camp
that.
ended and you left. There was no sign.
Are you going to the green and white scrimmage?
Yeah, I'm going to go to that.
I'll be there too. I'll be there.
What about you, Jerry? You going, Jerry?
I'm not flying out for that one. I miss going to the green.
Yeah, I wouldn't fly up for that.
Yeah.
Well, it's still fun because, again, like Carlos said, the accessibility that you get to everything, and it's more than just a practice. It's more than a glorified scrimmage. It's the experience, seeing everybody.
Yeah, they got like the fireworks and everything.
The fan events.
It's
they do
cool
outside the fan zone. It's just cool,
Yep.
And especially if you're into the Jets or into a team as heavily as we all are, we're heavily invested. It's just like you don't go for the practice. You go to kind of just look and you see, oh, that's Sam Darnold, or oh, that's this guy. Like, oh, they're right in front of me. It's just cool. It's a nice experience just to go and.
The cool thing for me is like last year when it was our first time back in MetLife. Like it wasn't a game or even like a preseason, but like before that, like with COVID, MetLife was shut down. So I'm like, I just want to go see like the turnout, and it was a pretty big turnout, for what it was. It was just cool being back with the Jets fans, interacting with everybody, having some beers, and you go outside, you see everyone like playing cornhole, and they're grilling steaks and everything. I saw one guy, I don't know how he got away with it, but he ended up stealing somebody else's grill, and I'm like, oh. Like, all right, like, we're back at MetLife.
Yeah.
Aggressive.
Like I don't know.
Very casual.
Yeah, I just they look up, they walk up, they look at the grill, they're like examining it, and he goes,
I could use this.
he just pulls it away. Yeah, I'm like, all right, good for you, man. Lock your shit up. I don't know what to tell you.
I think the best thing about the green and white scrimmage is that it's free and it gives opportunity to people who maybe can't afford tickets, or maybe you can afford a ticket, but you can't afford to bring your entire family. Maybe you have 4 kids, 5 kids, or you want to bring the wife, or you want to bring your like. You could literally bring your entire 40 or 50 friends if you want. Like, I just like that it's free. It's an opportunity to go to an NFL stadium. It might be the first time your kid is going to a stadium, and that's a good thing. Like Spiga said, one of your best memories there is bringing your little guy to his first game. But like, if you have a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old that you have been wanting to take to a game, but you're just like, it's going to be too rowdy, it's going to be too loud. This is like a good opportunity to be able to bring a kid there. You bring them on your own terms. It's not going to be packed where it's loud, and it's just a good opportunity to like
the football experience without the football experience, really. Yeah,
right. They're going into a stadium. They're seeing some stuff on the field. They're going to see fireworks. It's just, I think it's a good family event for if you're into that type of thing. But I like that there's no for a sport or an organization that charges you for everything. The fact that they do something in a stadium that's free, I think is pretty cool. So I like that they do that.
I like the hype guy. Like the guy that's always on like the microphone and everything. Yeah. I like him. He's always like throwing out shirts. He's cool.
Oh yeah, that's a dream job right there. Just throwing out shirts.
Yeah.
But okay, so we by far have had the best draft in a very long time.
Absolutely.
What do you think about the draft picks? How do you think they're going to do this year?
For both first?
Yeah, you go first.
I love it. I think they headed out of the ballpark. I was a little. I mean, you listen to the pod. I was a little salty on the sauce hype. I wasn't sure if you take him at 4. I didn't know. I wanted KT. I wanted Thibodeau real bad.
It's a common answer.
But it's just like, again, he's the the physical freak. It's a position in need. It's everything that's you could hope for. But think of how many draft picks that we did get that I loved, and it's like it didn't work out. I loved the Sam Darnold pick. I loved I loved Quentin Williams. I loved Leonard Williams. All these other that were great. Jamal Adams didn't work out for us. So maybe it's time that they pick outside the box. And I think he's the kind of guy that you make a pick like that for. Didn't give a touchdown all of college. It's ridiculous. And then you come back with pretty much the best receiver in the draft, Garrett Wilson, pretty much everyone's consensus. And then to somehow get Jermaine Johnson, like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Yep.
They crushed it. And I have high expectations for pretty much all of them. Everyone.
And then turn around with Breece Hall.
Yeah. Shoot. and then get Jimmy Ruckert, and then get Clemens. Like
Ruckert's going to be a good.
I
pick
love
in, like, 2
Clemens.
years.
So
Did
do
you
I.
guys see that picture of Clemens? Like he's freaking ripped.
It's huge.
I was like, holy
just-
shit.
Just rolled up with no shirt on, like he's like a
Yeah.
8-year veteran.
Not mad at it.
I think
I
gave
love
a
because he's a freak. I like
Yeah.
all like respect to him, but he is even like during like his press conference, he's like taking like 2 minutes to like answer the question. He's just sitting there looking. I'm like, oh, this guy's gonna be nasty. I love it. I hope
gonna be a fan
I hope
favorite.
he gets some reps. Yes, I love him. He's like one of my favorite players already.
I think I gave like a hot take on our like draft reaction pod that he might end up being like the steal of our draft. Like
Yeah.
I bet.
he could be a 10 sack a year guy. Like if he develops the way that they think he could. Like he's a scheme fit, the size, the speed, like but like you said, like watching his introduction, like just the way like they're like, how do you they're like, you seem so chill and so quiet up here. Like, how do you just like and he just went, I just flipped the
I
switch.
flip it on.
He's like,
oh,
he's like,
okay.
I flip
he's
it
like,
on.
he's like, I just get volley. He's like, I just love. to
I
do that."
love Solid. He goes to a really dark place. When
Yeah.
he got drafted, he was sitting in his bedroom in the dark.
Yeah,
in the dark.
It doesn't get any
so awful.
creepier than that.
yeah.
It doesn't
Like
get. You see everybody like with their family, they're putting on the hat and everything. This guy's laying in bed, just sitting there.
Yeah.
He's like, just
No
waiting
lights
for
on.
my chance. Just waiting.
I'm
for my
just
chance.
waiting. I'm gonna kill somebody.
He arguably has dead bodies somewhere in his house. Like he's.
I wouldn't be surprised.
What'd
I
you
wouldn't
say,
be
Matt?
surprised.
What'd you say, Matt?
I said he probably there. I have no doubt there's dead bodies in that guy's house somewhere. Like he's committed
Always
murder once or twice.
Yeah, at least. I love it. I love
But
it.
yeah,
When's the last time we had an animal like him on our team? Like,
yeah,
like a
not in
legit.
long time.
He's gonna
Not in-
scare players. Players
Yeah.
are gonna be like, "Holy shit! I'm lining up against Michael Clemens, and he's gonna rip my head off, literally because he wants to." And he's definitely gonna get in some people's heads. There's no doubt about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I love that pick. But in general, I feel the same. How can you not feel great about the way the draft played out?
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
as it was unfolding in real time, you got the sense like that day that they were going to go Sauce. Like there was a lot of smoke the last day heading into the draft that
Yeah.
like it sounds like Sauce is going to be the guy. And then when they actually did, I was like, all right, well, I'm on board
Here we
with
are.
this. But then once they went Wilson at 10, I was like, you knew they were going to go wide receiver there, but I was worried because I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, well, what the fuck do we do now about pass rusher? Because I thought pass rusher was their number one need. And so I'm like,
I agree.
you passed
Mhm.
on Thibodeau, and granted, we got a great corner, and sometimes like great coverage could like mask the pass rush, or vice versa. A great pass rush could mask bad coverage. So
Right.
depending
Right.
on the way
Right.
Salah's scheme fits, like maybe it works out. But I just like I felt good about the 2 picks, but I was like, I'd feel a lot better if like there was a pass rusher somewhere mixed in here. Like I'm not going to feel
Yeah.
great about it. And
Yeah.
then the longer Johnson was on the board, I'm like,
Something's gonna
Douglas
happen.
is going to do something. And then when
Dude,
Well,
I knew
When I
we
saw-
weren't done. I knew we weren't done.
see, I didn't know. I wasn't sure.
I wasn't sure.
I had this gut feeling. That we were not done after Sauce and Wilson. Personally, I wanted Jameson Williams because he's a St. Louis boy. So
Sure.
I wanted him, but I'm really happy. Sauce has been my favorite player, like in college, so I really wanted Sauce, and I feel like getting Curry, I like that, and I was happy with that. But I'm a big Johnson guy, so once we knew we got Johnson, I'm like, then you got Brees Hall. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, 'cause
Well,
then
see, what
they
threw
keep
me
coming.
for a loop. Yeah, what threw me for a loop is when all the coaches were down in Florida, and they were interviewing Salah, and I don't remember exactly what the question was, but he said something. His answer was like something along the lines of like, to stop like an elite quarterback, you sack him. So I thought like right then and there, like that they were hinting at going like pass rusher
Pass
at 4.
rusher at 4. Yep. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
100%.
So
I feel like the whole
but-
pre-draft process, when we talk about it on the pod, I feel like all 5 of us were like consensus. Like, there's no way they're passing on Thibodeau if he's there.
Right.
yeah, he had some baggage
Right.
with him too, though. He didn't
Yeah,
necessarily
that's-
impress everybody. He was more about his
That's-
brand. You have 15 minutes and you can talk about your brand.
Yeah.
Gino, what are you
yeah.
cracking over there? Cracking beer?
Is
that me?
That's not me. That's him.
Oh, is that
Another
you?
Nooner? Yeah.
That's him.
Oh no!
One down, get another one going.
There you go.
Oh, nice.
Dude,
I knew somebody's cracking something. I'm
Told
drinking
you,
water
I'm
over
trying-
here.
High noon.
Right
Come-
next-
Come get us. Come
Right
get
next
us.
to me, I have Jack Daniels right next to me. It's not open yet.
Yeah, I was
It will
watching
be.
one of you guys' podcasts, and I know one of them was drunk. The whole whole time. I just forgot his
Dennis.
name. It was your last one.
Oh,
The
yeah.
recent one.
My friend
Yeah.
Dennis.
Yeah,
He
he looked like he was on his phone, I think, right?
Yeah,
Does
he
that
was on
sound
his
right?
phone. Yeah, he was.
I was cracking up with him because he didn't know what the hell was going on. I mean, he was just...
No, he was on a boat all day, like drinking.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah,
I
he was
love
down the shore on a boat, and I was like, "Yo, who's coming on tonight?" And he's like, "I could sneak away for like 40 minutes and come on." So he's like in his brother-in-law's basement, but you could tell as soon as he got on, he was drunk. But like, I think that's the funny part. It's like a group chat. Like, it'd be like him
Yeah, you
sending
don't know
drunk
who's-
texts in a group chat. Like,
Yeah.
and it's just all different personalities, and that's why I think it's funny. But
oh, dude, it's so funny. It's so funny. I was laughing. I really enjoyed that
Yeah.
podcast. I can only imagine what Jerry's mom was saying the whole time.
She's texting me like mid. I'm like, oh god, here we go. The next day, as soon as I know it dropped. Yep, it's like she goes, oh, so what happened senior year of high school? And I'm like, Mom, just the less you know, the better. Just go.
Yeah,
moving.
exactly.
That was like 10 years ago. It doesn't
Yeah.
But,
especially because then it dives into like, oh, we're not even talking about like, oh, parties, anything crazy we did. Then we're talking about like girls and stuff. And I'm like, no, Mom, trust me, the less you know, the better. Nope, don't do it. Have Dad text me.
Have Dad text me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're in training camp now, fellas. It's finally here. Day one, in the books. We got day two. What is your like top 5 or top 3 things that you want to see battle-wise? Maybe you want to sign some guys, trade for some guys. We'll start with Jerry. But what do you think about like the expectation?
My biggest thing is I just above all else, stay healthy.
I mean,
everybody stay healthy.
Amen.
Because how many times, like I've said this on our pod before, how many times your first or second round, your blue chip guy is out for 6 weeks because of a hamstring, a quad. Elijah Moore was hurt. Quinn Williams was hurt. Denzel Mims. All these guys just stay healthy.
Carl Lawson.
Corey Davis.
That hurt me the most.
Talk about that.
Lawson and Davis killed me on that one.
But it's like, just stay healthy, because I think this team really does have potential. And I know you get heat for it. It's like, oh, every year you think that. Like, but I really do. I think that they've got potential to do something special here. Could they be the Bengals of last year? Maybe, probably not. But I think that they'll blow through expectations, blow through that ceiling, definitely get more than 5 wins. But stay healthy. I might be on the weird side of the fence in this. I'm happy to see Becton right tackle. They came out of the gate and said he's starting right tackle. Get the bullshit out of the way.
Yeah. We said that earlier. Me and Gino did a video earlier, and that's the first thing I said. Because the freaking beat writers, like they would make a mockery out of it, Next thing you know, like Becton and Fant are fighting in the locker room, and like they're not agreeing, and Becton's ready to walk off. You can have all these like bullshit answers, and it's just not true.
Right. So, exactly.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but
no, you're good. But that's part of the problem. I mean, we talked about it on one of ours as well, where they're like, oh, he came in overweight, he did this, he's sluggish, he's gross, and you're like, oh man, it even got us riled up. Then you look at him, oh boy, he's fine, trim. He looked good,
so good.
I'm like,
he didn't look 400 pounds.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So it's like, how much of it is bullshit? How much of them, doing what you do in the media, getting a story? So I think coming out and Salah made the right choice to say, hey, listen, no competition, no bullshit. Fans are left, Becton's are right. And what it does is it puts him back to AVT. They can build on that chemistry they had last year. And I think that right side, they're just going to maul people, man. I think it's going to be crazy.
The Smash Bros, the Super Smash Bros.
I'm excited.
Yeah, that's such a frustrating aspect to it, because like you guys just said, for the last 5 weeks, like that's pretty much all they've talked about is how mad the Jets were at Becton. He's not going to be ready for camp. He's going to open on the pup. He's 35 pounds overweight. And then like homeboy shows up day one. He's off the pup,
looking trim.
And Salah's like, oh yeah, he's been working his ass off since. They were like, oh, I remember somebody was like, oh, Becton's not even in the building. And Salah today was like, he's been in the building every day since the end of June.
Yeah, except July 4th.
Last 6 weeks.
Except for the 4th.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so like they were like, oh yeah, he's overweight. And I'm like, I don't think homeboy lost 40 pounds in the last 40 days.
No way.
I think him being overweight, he probably was a little bit overweight, but not like 40 pounds overweight like they were making it sound like he was. So they just hyped it up to be a whole bunch of nothing. And now the guy shows up, and now it's like, now everything's great. Like the Jets line is set now. Like it's all set, where like 4 days ago, it's like, oh man, the Jets season's hinging on
Here we go
Becton
again,
and
kind of thing. Yeah.
It was just like an
Saleh let them have
off-season.
their stories, though. Like Saleh let them have their fun. You know, he didn't really correct them. He just kind of let them go. He knows the media game. He plays the media game perfect. You guys want to have your little stupid stories? Fine. You know, it's May, it's June, July, football. You know, there's nothing to talk about. You guys still need a job. Hey, fine, have your little bullshit stories. But you know, it's like when training camp comes, we're gonna set the record straight. You know,
Yeah.
Right.
which
It's
I think he
serious
handled
stuff
it
now.
perfectly.
Yeah.
Yep, I think
absolutely.
he handled it perfectly.
Yeah, because
Gino?
when we talked about that on our pod last week. What were the biggest stories that we were looking for? And Becton was my number one. I wanted that settled. So here we are, day one, and it's settled already. It's not really a battle anymore. But I think the biggest one is, like you guys said, the health. But I'm also excited to see, I think, Carl Lawson, like, especially after the momentum he had in camp. Like, everything you were reading last year, the dude was like, he was making Becton look silly. And so that built up like, oh, is Becton bad or is just Lawson really good? But the guy had like 5 or 6 sacks every camp. And every beat writer, Samini, Connor Hughes, all those guys were like, I've never seen a camp like this. Like, I've never seen somebody dominate from start to finish like Lawson was. And then just that one day when they're like, oh, Green Bay, this dual scrimmage, and it felt like my enthusiasm for the season went like this, and somebody stuck a nail in it and it deflated, man. Like, my enthusiasm for last season was just out the window when that happened. And the Jets haven't had a player like that since John Abraham, and they've been looking for it. They've been craving for it, and it felt like last year we were finally going to see it. We were robbed of it. And 1, he's got to stay healthy in camp, but 2, I just want to continue to see him pick up where he left off last year, because that guy in that solid scheme is
dangerous.
That's a nightmare for people. And so I'm for me, it's just Carl Lawson staying healthy, but also trending or ascending to the pass rusher that we think he should be.
What about you guys?
And then again, we got to look at, Lawson is very injury prone. He's been injury prone his whole career. He's a great player. He's really great with the Bengals, but we got 17 guys in there. It's a pretty crowded room. So, I mean, it's a stacked room. So it's like if Lawson does go down or someone else does go down, we can either switch Clemens to that side or switch Johnson to that side, Curry. Like, I'm glad we have backup plans. That's what we all wanted. We had to go out and get traded for Shaq Lawson, in the middle of the season. I'm like, okay. Well, I like Lawson. He's all right, but and then the injuries. Of course, we talk about the injuries and stuff. But I really want another linebacker. I want to complete that 3 with Williams and Mosley. I know they're pretty high on Sherm. I'm high on Sherm too. I know the safety position is very complicated, with Davis and Panak. I know Joyner's doing a very great job, but I don't know. I want to see the defense get better. I feel like the offense just speaks for itself. But I know me and Liam talk about all the time about that. So what do you think, Liam?
Well, quick shout out to our best friend, the Buffalo Jets fan. Boys, football is back. Buffalo Jet, you cannot have said it better. It's perfect. Football is back. Thank you for watching, man. Always appreciate you. So, yeah, with training camp, I just, kind of like Jerry said, I just want to see everybody healthy. I think if we go in to week 1 with the guys that we're supposed to be going out there week 1, we're not starting off with Chris Hogan and guys like that, the Smith brothers at wide receiver. I think it's going to be a special year. And like you said, we say that every year, but I think that it's very important. And I think it's true that we're going to be going into this season with, if we have Elijah Moore healthy, if we have Braxton Berrios, Corey Davis, Garrett Wilson, Denzel Mims, we could be 4 or 5 receivers deep, like quality receivers deep at the wide receiver position. We have tight ends for the first time in a decade. We have possibly
corners
the best 2
for the first time.
Corners. We have possibly the best, at least like the top 5 1-2 punch at running back, Breece Hall and Michael Carter. I think this offense could do some damage. It all depends on Zach Wilson. And like I said, today he did pretty well. He went 7 for 11. He's still struggling a little bit in the end zone, but it's gonna happen. It's the first day of camp. You can't overreact to anything. But I just really like that Sawa just nipped the whole Fant Becton thing in the butt while he had the chance. He didn't want to play out, and there's just no drama surrounding the team. And to me, that's the biggest thing. There's no distractions. It's just a bunch of guys that just put their heads down and work. And they're not talking. They're not saying that they're going to be the best or anything like that. They're going to let on Sundays we're going to see how good they are. And to me, that's the biggest thing.
And contributing what you just said, JD has been on Super Bowl winning teams. He has been under the influence of guys that won Super Bowls, and Salah has been on Super Bowl winning teams. So it's like they know what it takes to put a good team together. And I mean, you can see what Salah has brought over his whole coaching staff from the Niners. If that's not saying something, then what is?
LaFleur's a lunatic too. I think this is going to be a high-flying offense.
I love what he brings to this offense.
Booth LaFleur.
Booth LaFleur, yeah. When he's on the sideline, it's not that great. He's got to be in the booth. But the beginning of last season was a little bit underwhelming, but I think it was just too fast for everybody. You had a first-time quarterback, a first-time offensive coordinator, a first-time head coach. It was like too much, too fast. As soon as they were able to kind of take that step back, like you saw, like LaFleur got comfortable, started taking crazy chances. Zach Wilson got comfortable, started like picking his spots. It was like everything slowed down for everybody, and I want to see that momentum pick up week 1. It can't be week 4 again. Can't be week 7. Opening kickoff week 1. Like right now, the biggest thing I've said this before. I'm happy we're playing the Ravens and we're playing them. Lamar Jackson's a freak, but if I'm going to play him anytime, it's when I've had 6 months to plan for him. Period.
Absolutely,
you got to beat them. Come out of the gate hot and don't take your foot off their throat. Like,
but to also be transparent. To be transparent, like the defense should be much improved. It has to be much improved this year. Salah's a defensive guy. He was brought in to help out the defense. And not to be the negative fan or anything over here, but what are we going to do if Sauce Gardner's giving up 2 touchdowns, week 1? Are we all going to cry because he has like too high expectations? It's important to understand. We could be excited all we want, but it's important to understand where we are too. And that these are a lot of new guys. These guys are going to have to get acclimated. Laken Tomlinson, yes, he's a Pro Bowler, but it's his first time on the Jets. The good thing is he has the experience with Salah in his system. But, there's also a lot of guys that have to get used to playing with each other. The O-line's going to have to gel. Zach Wilson's going to have to get, comfortable with guys like Garrett Wilson, So, yes, it's going to be high-flying and everything, but I'm expecting a couple hiccups. But I don't think that's anything to be afraid of. No team is perfect. Unless you're freaking the Buccaneers and you're signing every veteran out there. It's I like the direction of the team. I like that we're young, but being a young team, you're also going to have the young rookie mistakes as well. But I don't think that's an excuse not to win some games. If you want to be a good team, you got to beat good teams. That's the way I look at it.
Exactly.
Yeah. The schedule is definitely hard coming out of the gate, and so like you said, when you have so many young players, not even just the rookies. I mean, Zach Wilson's a young player. All the guys they draft, Moore and all those guys, they're young players, and so you have to understand that they're still learning the speed of the game and doing all that stuff. But you can't expect that. If the Jets don't start 2-0 or 3-0, like the season's not over. The season's not a failure.
Right.
Because the schedule is hard coming right out of the gate, but it comes a point in time where too, like you can't just say, oh, well, we're 1-4. It's just another year. Like you have to have this year. There's expectations. Like they're expecting 6. Like I don't think 4 wins is good enough this year. 5 wins is that was fine last year. First year head coach, first year quarterback, like first year of the program. It's just going to be another punt year. But with all the firepower that they've now given the quarterback, which they never did for Darnold, and the core pieces that they have in place already, you're expecting a jump. You can't go from 3 wins to 4 wins or 4 wins to 5. Like a 1 win improvement.
It can't be
Good teams don't do that. You got to take steps.
Right.
And so I'm not saying they have to go out there and win 10 or 11 games this year, but I think you honestly, legitimately need to see 7 wins or 8 wins out of this team to feel good about it. If you're telling me we're talking again in January and the Jets went 4-13, like something went wrong. Something went really wrong.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so there's not, I wouldn't say there's not a lot of pressure sure
Not a lot of
expectations,
pressure.
but on
There
the
you
other
go.
hand, there are expectations for wins this year. It's not going to be we're cool with winning 4 games for the 5th year in a row. That's not going to cut it anymore. If the
No.
Jets are picking in the top 5
Yeah.
next year,
So
Something
they're-
went wrong.
I can tell you, Woody Johnson's not going to be happy about it. And my fear too is that Woody Johnson is back now, and if they don't win 7 or 8 games like he wants, I don't want him to do something premature like he's always done and fire the coach.
Yeah.
Or let's go. Zach Wilson's not the quarterback. Let me go trade for the aging
Garoppolo or
veteran.
something stupid.
Yeah. Let me go
Yeah.
trade for. Let me sign Kirk Cousins, the veteran guy, or something. Like
Right.
I don't want him to do something premature, and that's my fear. But I think the
So-
pieces are there. There's no reason why the Jets can't win 7 or 8 games because the second half of that schedule, there's a lot of winnable games. And like
Agreed.
if you're telling me you're a team that's progressed and you're ready to win, if you can't, there's no reason the Jets can't sweep the Patriots this year. Like I'm tired of they'll split maybe. Like maybe they'll split, but like why can't they sweep them? Like the Patriots don't scare me anymore. You shouldn't be afraid of the Patriots. Like
No,
Yeah, Mac
not
Jones.
at all.
yeah,
No, not at
and
all.
same thing. Like Miami's good, but like I don't think Miami's one of the better teams in the league. They're slightly probably ahead of the Jets and where they're at, but it's a winnable game. Like,
Right.
and that's
Right.
the thing too. I think you have to evaluate the team beyond wins and losses. They need to be competitive. Like
Right.
they can't go
Well-
into Buffalo and lose 38-7 again. Like they go into Buffalo and
Right.
lose 38-21 or 38-28 or whatever, like lose by 10, whatever. But they can't keep getting blown out in these games where they're paying superior competition. It needs to be a more competitive effort from start to finish. And I think they have the dogs to do that this year for sure.
So I was gonna ask you, and I'll ask you, Jerry, as well. What is a successful season? Like, what defines a successful season for you guys, in your opinion?
Good question.
Is it like a
Is that-
playoff mandate? Because like
So-
Braxton Berrios said,
No.
it's playoff or fail.
So
What do you guys think?
Mosley-
I agree
Mosley
with
said
saying
that.
that because again,
Oh,
you
Mosley?
wanna-
Okay.
You want to be competitive. You want to win. You want to, it's always translated to wins and losses. Let's be honest. The AFC is absolutely stacked.
The most
Like,
it's been ever.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you could have a wild card. Like the 2 wild card teams might be 11-5. You know what I mean? It's like it's so
Yeah.
stacked on this side. To me, like, and I think to Carlos's point, it's got to go beyond wins and losses. To me, like Zach Wilson across the board has to take a next step. Whatever it is, however it looks, can't make stupid
We'll know when he
mistakes.
does, right?
Yeah,
Right.
We'll
yeah,
know
you'll-
when we see it.
Yeah, don't say like
Right.
I mean, if he's competitive like he was the last half of the season when he came back from injury, was picking his spots, not throwing crazy picks, not going for 140 yards, 2 or 3 picks and no touchdowns, 1 touchdown. Like, can't be doing that anymore.
Right.
If he's taking a legitimate step forward, and we'll be able to know when we see it, I'm happy. Same thing with the defense. If the back half of the defense, because quarterback was arguably one of our biggest needs. Now it's a crowded room. With you have
Right.
Michael Carter, DJ Reed, you have Sauce, and then you figure Eccles came on at the end of the year.
Bryce Hall.
like-
Yep.
Bryce Hall was your
Bryce
number
Hall.
1 last year.
Exactly. And now he's going to be maybe
Yep.
a 3 or 4. Be competitive and stay in games and don't be the laughing stock. You know what I mean? Like, kind of be in every game. And if you lose, that's fine. But like, the locker room's got to stay tight. Everything's got to be, you have to look like a good football team. And then you'll start to play like a good football team. That's what
I
I
think
think,
if you're just evaluating like the program, like, and I say program in the sense of like where they're at with the quarterback, the head coach, the GM, like, I think the sense is like for the program, this is the year where they take this step to like establish respect and to show teams that they're ready to win. But it feels like next year is like the year they go and they need to be that playoff team. But I think this year you have to win. For me, like, I think 7 wins is where I need to feel good about them going into. At least 7 wins minimum for me to feel like it was a productive season. I don't know why 7, but to me 7 feels
Sounds
like that.
good.
It just
Yeah,
sounds.
right.
I mean, it's still a losing season, but I'll feel good about 7 wins if they're competitive. Put it that way: they win 7 games, but they lose 3 games by 4 points, field goal, overtime. I mean, those are bound to happen.
Win the games you're supposed to win, and then win a couple here and there that you're not supposed to. Like, I'm looking at the schedule now. Like, yeah, like their first half is scary, but if you think about it, you're playing the Ravens. Like, who knows, the crapshoot opening week, anything could happen. Then you're probably going to play the Browns without Deshaun Watson.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows?
Most
there.
definitely.
Then the Bengals. You beat them last year. Then you go. Then the Browns. I mean, not the Browns. Then the Steelers. Rookie quarterback, really good defense, but again, like
rookie quarterback or Trubisky.
Like that
Yeah.
screams. If you have a gambling people on here, that screams under that game. So I mean, lock it in now if you can. And then Dolphins, same thing. And then Packers were Packers, but again, without
Packers coming off of a
weapon.
London trip.
A London trip. Like it's not as scary or as daunting as you seem. And then the Broncos, who knows what Russell Wilson's actually going to be? Is it like, was he Legion of Boom Russell Wilson, or was he
100%
dangerous?
Last year, yeah.
So it's like, to me, like you have to win the games you're supposed to win, and then 1, 2, or 3 of those like last year games that you win. Like when we beat the Titans, when we beat the Bengals. But you can't be losing again to the Falcons, who have me playing receiver in London. You know what I mean? Like win those games, then you'll get the respect back. That's what they got to do next year.
I have one more quick question for you guys, and I guess I'll start with you, Jerry, because you were mentioning how stacked the AFC is. Mm-hmm. With the AFC so much more improved, do you think it's gonna be harder for the Jets to look like they have improved as well?
It's a good question. I think it's a double-edged sword. It's going to take more than just their record to show whether they improved or not. I think they play enough winnable games this year that you'll see the improvement. It's not like they're playing, Murderers Row, where they're playing the Chargers, then they're playing the Raiders, and then they're playing, whoever down the line. Like they have a winnable schedule. I think the playoff teams and the wild cards might force the Jets out of the playoffs this year if we, think expectations are where they are. But they have to just show competency across the board, and it's a success MIS.
What about you, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, the AFC, every team that's a contender improved this offseason. Like for me, like I don't know about you guys, we've talked a lot about it on our pod. Like that whole Tyreek Hill saga. Like I was hurt for a while. Like I went down that rabbit hole. I was depressed for a couple days. But even when it happened, like after it unfolded, for me, the biggest thing was not even not having Hill on my team. It was the fact that he went to a team that's going to make it all the more difficult to beat now. Like, you know what I'm saying? So by the fact that he made the Dolphins stronger, and it's just another team now after the Chargers have improved, the Chiefs are probably still going to be a good team. The Raiders improved, the Dolphins improved, Buffalo's improved, Denver improved. And so just like all these teams improved, and this was before we even had the draft. Right. So I was going in the draft like, man, this is another year where like you could already name the playoff teams without us even drafting yet. Right. But we obviously had that home run draft, and it kind of changed my interpretation. But those teams that all improved are still there, and we're only talking about year 2 for the quarterback and year 2 for the number 1 wide receiver, and the rest of these guys are all rookies. So we're asking a bunch of second-year and rookie players, for the most part, as the core of this team to persevere and beat an all-world team like the Justin Herbert or Patrick Mahomes or Lamar Jackson. Can it be done? Sure. I mean, nobody saw where the Bengals were coming out of last year. Nobody had the Bengals in the Super Bowl last year. And so I think the Bengals have to give everybody hope. Like, if they did it, why can't we? It really came down to the quarterback. It came down to Burrow developing into the quarterback that they thought they drafted. And their line wasn't one of the better lines in the league. Their line was ranked at the bottom of the league, and they still went
made it work.
And they had defense that came up with turnovers. They put it together on the line, solid running game, and Burrow took them there. And so I think you guys said it earlier. Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't, but I feel like it does come down to the quarterback. Like, if Wilson just balls out, like, why can't the Jets make the playoffs?
Yeah.
Like, if he has a Joe Burrow-esque season, I don't know.
Why not? Why not?
I think anything could happen. I mean, is it going to be hard? For sure. Like, is it realistic to think where the Jets are right now, having not played a game, not knowing anything about how these rookies are going to develop, to expect them to be a playoff team? I don't think you could expect that. I don't think that's fair. But if they're competitive, and I think you have to evaluate it on the fly. Like, how does the season go? If they're 2-2 coming out of September, you probably feel like they should win more of those games in October that maybe you don't feel like they should win now. And so I think you have to evaluate it on the fly. Like, how do they look? How is Wilson developing? How are all these rookies developing? If they come out of September 2-2 or 3-1, I think your expectations for that team change after month 1 than they do right now.
Their confidence as well. Their confidence is going to be sky high.
Yep. And that's something you can't.
A lot of it's believing. If they believe they could beat a top team, they're going to go out there and they could beat a top team.
And if there's a coach that's going to make you believe that, it's Robert Saleh.
Yeah,
absolutely.
For real. 100%.
That's why he's there.
Absolutely.
That's why he's there.
And the guy that hired him, Joe
Douglas.
Yeah.
And not to get, go back kind of like what you said, Liam, to be like a morbid Jet fan, but like if let's say Zach Wilson doesn't work out. Let's say he comes in, same thing. He just seems overwhelmed. To me, I will, I promise. I think Joe Douglas has still earned the right to pick another quarterback for everything else that he's done.
Yeah.
Because you'll see, like he said, like Pardo said, Woody Johnson's very quick on the trigger sometimes.
Yeah.
I really think that all the other moves and all the other things that he's done, whether it's via trade, free agency, fleecing other teams, the draft, outside of the quarterback, which is the hardest thing to predict, I think he's earned the right to stick around, and try again, or see what else he could do with something else. So,
Agreed.
I mean,
I agree, but I think Joe Douglas is tied to Zach Wilson. To be completely honest with you,
yeah, he probably.
I
is.
agree with you,
not,
but
just like Becton and
right.
Vince, he
yeah.
loves these guys.
If these guys don't work out, I don't see Joe Douglas sticking around. I really don't.
Neither do I.
Just because of the record, and like a lot of that's not his fault. And he inherited a bad team, and he has done a ton of he cleaned up the salary cap. He's brought in his guys. He's brought in possibly more talent than the team has seen the last 10 years. Yeah. That's great and everything, but like that's what we think. We don't know that these guys could go out there and be average. And like you said, not to be a morbid fan or anything, but I don't see him getting another chance if Zach Wilson fails. To be honest with you,
I agree.
Obviously, I hope it doesn't happen. We love Zach. We hope it does. We hope it works out. But if for whatever reason it doesn't, I don't see him getting another quarterback.
Which you're probably right, but again, it's a shame.
Yeah, because Liam,
it is.
You just said Zach Wilson's his guy. He came in. He didn't. None of those guys were his guys. Darnold wasn't his guy, but he was given that grace period, if you will, to evaluate what was there.
And he tore it all down anyway.
Yeah, give out the contracts he wanted to give out.
Clean house.
But the fact,
I was so happy.
The fact now that this is his guy, he brought in his coach, he brought in his quarterback. He's on the clock now, and so if his guy doesn't win, if his quarterback doesn't win, and if his coach doesn't win, I think all three of them are kind of tied at this point. I think
it's an indictment on him. You're right.
I go back to the word program. It's a program together. The coach, the quarterback, and the GM are all on the clock together, in my opinion.
I agree.
I think if you're going to pull the plug on one, you have to pull the plug on all.
You got to do the whole thing, tear it down, because then you do another one where, well, now you got another. You're going to keep this guy, and it's not his guy. Then you do that circus for 3-4 years where it's not aligned. If the new coach and the quarterback knew everything, if that's not aligned, it never works.
But
Very
that's
rarely
the
works.
mistake the Jets have made for the last 10 years of not having those guys on the same timeline. You kept Rex Ryan. You kept Rex Ryan as a lame duck with a new GM. When they brought in Idzik. Idzik didn't want to keep Rex Ryan. He was forced to keep him.
It doesn't work out that it never works out.
It just never works out. And then they hired McCagnon. They hired McCagnon, and Bowles was there already, and that didn't work out. And then you hired Gase with McCagnon.
and then Gase fires McCagnon.
And then Gase pretty much fired McCagnon. But so they've never been.
Do you remember when Gase was general manager? Gase was the interim general manager of the freaking Jets.
Yeah, for a little bit.
What a wild time.
Yeah,
a wild time.
So
time to be alive.
The Jets have just done that for the last 10 years where they won't put things on the same timetable, where if it doesn't work out, they pull the plug on one but not the other. And I think you can't ever reset that way, because a coach doesn't want to play for a GM. Like, a GM's not going to want to eat a coach that's there already, and a head coach probably isn't going to survive a second GM anyway. So you're better off just having them all linked together and cutting ties at the same time.
It's like a car with a blown head gasket, and you're just painting new colors on it. It's still a broken car.
It doesn't work yet.
We went out and we bought a new car, so now we got to see, how is this new car going to run?
It's a good way to put it. I like that. Yeah.
It'll work out. I promise.
I have a good feeling.
I'll hold you to that, Jerry. I'm holding you to it.
Yeah, but you know what? As much as we've said this before, as much as we really, really always say, "Oh, this is another year. This is a new year. We feel good." This one feels different.
It does. You're right.
Different out of every.
You can't explain it, and that's how I know it's real, because I can't explain it. It's not like, oh no, because we got a new quarterback. It's like he's still a rookie. Oh, well, we got a new coach. Well, he's still never coached before. It's just, I can't explain it. It just, what I see just feels different.
I agree.
We have been Jets fans since we were kids. Okay, we have come a very long way. We deserve it as a fan base. The
Yes.
Jets know that. Pull the plug. Let's win a freaking Super Bowl. Let's all have fun and get drunk. Like, let's have a party. We deserve our own party. If the Browns and the Bengals can do it, Miami and Jaguars can do it, we can do it.
Right.
100%.
We've seen butt fumbles. We've seen ghosts. We've seen shutouts. We've seen blowouts. We've seen our quarterback getting his jaw broken. We've seen it all, man. We've been through the ringer.
Yeah.
We deserve it. We honestly deserve it. We do.
I couldn't agree more. And I think that's the beautiful part of being a Jet fan, though. A lot of people are like, how do you guys do it? How do you endure so much pain?
And I hate
and
that.
We drink. We drink.
My answer always is, though, because it's not going to, I know it's not going to last forever. I mean, I could be 50 when it changes, but one day this too is going to pass. And there is going to come a time where the Jets are winners or contenders or they eventually win. Yeah. But do you know how much more that us collectively as a fan base are going to enjoy that? Like
especially the older fans.
Yeah.
Like my dad was like 1 or 2 years old, like when they won the Super Bowl. He doesn't remember it, you know? I think he was 2 years old, he said. And I think that's going to mean the most to like those, you know, guys like Fireman Ed and, you know, guys like the Green Beans, like the older, it's going to mean a lot to us too. You know, like we grew up watching this team suck, but you know, it's like these guys, they sat through Kotite, they sat through Gaze, you know, they've sat through them all. So that's kind of who I'm most excited for, you know, personally. Of course, I'm going to love it. I'm going to go nuts too. I plan, if the Jets win a Super Bowl, I'm getting a Jets tattoo. I've already confirmed it.
I like that.
I'm getting cool with that. And my dad even said, he's like, well, you didn't play for them. I was like, I feel like I have. Like I've sat through the misery.
Right. Jeff,
and he agrees.
I gotta say, like, dude, if the Jets ever won a Super Bowl, can you imagine what Twitter's gonna be like?
No.
Dude, we might pull the whole site down.
New York is gonna be like.
Burn the whole thing down.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be ridiculous.
There'll be no more Twitter.
We'll shut everybody down.
There might not be a New York City anymore.
Yeah, I was gonna say New York City would freaking burn down.
Oh, man, I always say, like, if the Jets go to the Super Bowl, I don't care if I have to, you know, remortgage a house. I'm going to that Super Bowl, one way or another. I'm going.
100% agree with that.
You can just live at MetLife. If they win the Super Bowl, just live at MetLife. Yep.
Exactly.
There's a bunch of feral cats there in like the off season. Just live with them.
Right.
Yeah, they do a lot of weird shit in the parking lots.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
Even if I couldn't afford tickets to the Super Bowl, I would have to go to that city at least. Like I'd have to go to
go to the party.
Stand outside. Yep. Stand outside.
Be at one of those big viewing parties outside the stadium. Like I'd have to be there, to be in that atmosphere. I'd have to go to the city at minimum, depending on, I guess, what ticket prices look like.
Right.
$30,000.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going that high, but you're probably
we're in LA last year.
Yeah, I know they were bad, but yeah, we'll see what happens. I hope I get to the point in my life where I have to figure out how to come up with the money to get Super Bowl.
I agree. Let's get there first. I mean, why don't we all just start? Oh shit! I just took the hell out of my camera. Why don't we all just save money now? Yeah, I am excited. Yeah. Just start. You know, everyone put like $20 a week away. By the time we get there, we'll have plenty.
We'll get there.
Yep.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Gina, have any more questions?
I am good to go. So Jets fans, we have a lot of content for you coming up. I'm gonna be on Gangrene Germany next Tuesday at 2 p.m. And then next Wednesday we have very special guests as well. Can't tell you yet, but me and Liam will be back on Monday for episode 37, and then we'll be keeping you updated with training camp this upcoming weekend, especially the upcoming days. And back to you, Liam.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to be on Monday, but who knows? We might be on before Monday. You know, you never know. We might pop up for the occasional video here and there. We did today. Pulling a double header today. But, all right, so before we wrap this up, you know, Matt, Jerry, you guys have been great. You know, I really enjoyed talking with you guys. We all share this common bond that, you know, we love these guys right here. It's a disease. We don't know why we do it, but it's going to feel so much sweeter once we do. So do you guys have anything else before we wrap it up, or?
Stay positive, everybody.
Yeah.
The storm will pass. Stay positive. It's changing. The tides are changing.
Good vibes.
Got this.
Only.
Good. I saw that.
Good vibes. Yeah.
It's dope. It's just we're getting there. We're headed in the right direction. It's not gonna happen overnight. Don't expect the Bengals takeover.
Agreed.
We'll get there eventually.
Yeah, it's just continue to build, and I put it this way: we've endured this much. We've been through a lot worse, and so you have to understand where we're at as a team and understand that we're finally building this thing the right way. You guys have been talking about and praising Douglas this whole night. And that's really what it comes down to. We finally have a guy who it seems like he knows what he's doing and he knows how to build a team the right way, from the ground up, the foundation up. And we're watching that happen right now. And so it's kind of like, we know we want to get to that big fancy 5-bedroom house. At this point, the foundation's been poured. We're starting to build it. The house isn't built yet, but you could kind of see it taking shape, and you're getting excited about what it's going to look like when it's finally built. And for the first time, the foundation hasn't cracked yet. We have a firm foundation, and we're getting there. So it's just got to come with patience. I know it's hard to be patient. It's been 12 years since we played a playoff game, and I don't know if this is the year that we're going to break that streak, but I think we're going to be a lot closer to that than we've been in the last 12 years in getting.
I think we're all excited.
Amen.
Just enter this. Oh, backwards. Just enter the season. Let's get going, man. I'm super excited for it. Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to chopping up with you guys in the J lot on September 11th too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Definitely hit us up. We'll stay in contact, and looking forward to having you guys on again. Definitely.
Yeah, we'd love to come on and just shout out to you guys for doing what you're doing, and you guys are crushing it, and we're enjoying following along and watching you guys grow. And so appreciate your support.
Likewise.
Yeah, appreciate your support, and like you said, anything you guys ever need or any advice you guys ever want to chat, we're here, man. It's all love, it's all community.
Amen.
Absolutely. Likewise here, man. All right, so that's going to wrap it up for episode number 36 of the Everything NYJ podcast. We've had a blast. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Helps us bring wonderful guests like Matt and Jerry on, and a couple other guys that will be coming on in the future. So where can we follow you guys on social media again?
You're going to want to follow the pod on Twitter. You could follow us at JetsPod, and on Instagram, you could follow us at Jets Group Chat Podcast.
Perfect. On Twitter, we're at Everything NYJ. Gino on Facebook is Gino Antonio Pagano, and on Instagram, it's _Everything NYJ. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good night. Go Jets, baby.
Cheers, boys.